I saw when you looked at the clock and felt that life was passing by too quickly, as if the days were slipping through your fingers without anything new happening. You sought this message because you felt, deep in your soul, that your heart needed direction, a clear sign that you are not walking alone in this desert of uncertainty. I tell you now, with the authority of the one who formed every star in the sky, do not look back, move forward today. There is a profound secret I want to tell you about the seasons you have already lived through, something that will finally lift the suffocating weight of remorse and guilt from your weary shoulders. Have you felt as if you were trapped in an invisible labyrinth, repeating the same thoughts and crying over the same losses of years ago? Know that I am the God who opens paths where the world says there is no way out. If you give me your full attention now and remain connected to my voice until the last word, I will place in your hands a spiritual key, a short yet powerful phrase that will silence the fear that so prevents you from sleeping peacefully. We are beginning a journey of profound revelation, and I guarantee that by the time you finish listening to me, you will no longer have the same eyes as when you began. If my voice is making your soul vibrate at this very moment, don't keep that feeling to yourself. Write down your name, the country and city from where you are listening to me, and tell me what time the clock shows in your life right now. I see every detail of your routine, and now allow a sincere cry to spring forth from the depths of your spirit, like a necessary outpouring. Lord my God, I am here. I signed up because I love you and want to hear you. Make this a pact of surrender and trust, for he who seeks my presence with true thirst never returns home empty-handed. I promise that at the end of this sacred encounter, you will have the answer you so desperately pleaded for in your silent prayers during the lonely nights. My daughter, stop trying to fix what is already definitively broken. Many times you spend all your energy trying to glue together the pieces of a vase that I have already decided to replace with something much more valuable and resistant. The past should only be a place of reference for you to remember where I took you from, and never a place of residence where your soul remains captive. I see you there, perhaps sitting on the edge of the bed or walking around the house in a heavy silence, brooding over words that were not said, gestures that were misinterpreted, and moments that simply will never return. But listen to what your Creator and Father tells you now. The present moment is the only place where my grace works real miracles. As it is written in the book of Isaiah, chapter 43, verses 18 and 19, "Do not remember the former things, nor consider the things of old. Behold, I will do a new thing. Now it shall spring forth. Shall you not know it? I will even make a way in the wilderness and rivers in the desert." Can you perceive what I am moving around you? I am stirring the waters of your life so that you may drink and be strengthened for what comes next. The desert you are crossing is not your final destination. It is merely your training ground. The pain you feel today did not come to destroy you, but to give you the necessary sensitivity to carry the glory that I will deposit in your story. Take a deep breath now. Feel the air entering your lungs and perceive how my presence fills every corner of this room where you are. I am here. I have always been here, and today I lovingly call you to take the first step out of the dark cave of yesterday. If this word is reaching your innermost being and bringing a relief you haven't felt in a long time, show heaven that you are attentive and embrace this message as an act of gratitude. Have you ever felt that your past acts as a heavy anchor, preventing your boat from sailing towards the open sea? Tell me what you feel. And to seal this beginning of healing in your heart, write in the comments, "I receive the new." But get ready, because I haven't yet shown you everything I've prepared for your tomorrow, and what's to come demands that your hands be empty of what has passed. I feel the weight of the silence that settles in your kitchen when the streetlights begin to come on, and you find yourself alone with your thoughts. It's a dense, almost palpable silence that seems to bring back voices from years ago, decisions you question and faces that time has taken away. I see it when you look at your own hands and notice a slight tremor, not from the day's weariness, but from the anguish of feeling that part of you is stuck in a season that should have already ended. You have been living as if the sky were made of bronze, feeling that your words don't reach the ceiling, without realizing that it is the rope of the past that is pulling your heart away from the altar of my presence. Looking excessively back, my daughter, is like trying to walk on an unknown road, keeping your eyes fixed only on the rearview mirror. You will end up stumbling over the stones that are right in front of your feet now. In the book of Luke, chapter 9, verse 62, the words of my son Jesus resonate with eternal clarity. No one who puts his hand to the plow and looks back is fit for the kingdom of God. Understand that this is not a criticism of your pain, but a warning about your perspective. If you keep your gaze fixed on what has been lost, you cannot see what I am planting in the soil of your life today. Remorse is an invisible chain that rusts the soul and steals the sparkle from your eyes. I see the tears you shed when no one is looking, the cold that rises in your chest when that specific memory assaults your spirit, making you believe that your best days are already behind you. But I, the Creator of time, tell you that mercies are renewed every morning, and they are not in yesterday. They are waiting for you at the exact moment you decide to release the anchors that bind you to the port that has already been destroyed by the storms of life. Release now this desire to understand the reason for each departure or each closed door. There are mysteries that I will only reveal when you are on the other side of the mountain, but for now, your duty is only to trust the guide who holds your hand. Are you tired of fighting ghosts from the past? Do you feel that the shadows of what went wrong obscure the sunlight I have prepared for this afternoon? Surrender those chains to me. Let my love undo every knot of guilt that the enemy of your soul has tried to tighten around your neck. I have forgiven you, I have cleansed you, and I have already mapped out a glorious path for your future. But to enter this new story, you need to have your hands free to hold what I will give you. If you feel that this word is cutting the ties that bind you to old suffering, leave your sign of communion and like this video now. Share this message with that person you know who lives trapped in a sickening longing. Tell me one thing. What do you feel still binds you to yesterday, and that you wish to surrender at my feet today? I want to hear your heart. And as an act of prophetic liberation, write here in the comments our word of victory for this moment. I move forward. Pay attention, and don't leave my presence now, for there is still something I am silently preparing that you never imagined could happen after so much pain. Beloved daughter, as you finally decide to untie the knots of the past and walk freely towards what I have prepared, I feel the beating of your heart, wanting to overflow with the peace that has begun to sprout in your chest. There is a new movement in heaven when a daughter decides that yesterday no longer defines her. And in this new breath of life that I give you today, perhaps you will feel the deep desire to bless the path of others who, like you, desperately seek this divine sign in the midst of the storm. If it is possible for you, and only if your heart is at peace and light enough for it, transform this gratitude into a seed of love, so that this channel may continue to be my voice reaching weary souls. I ask that you consider my immense love and the constant care of my son Jesus for you, and contribute using the link I left in the description of this video and also in the first pinned comment. There, you will find the place where your offering of love can be deposited and consecrated before me, the Creator of all things. Know that you can contribute any amount, whatever is most manageable for your current situation. If you wish to offer a different amount than those suggested, feel free to type it in. What I receive with joy is that which springs from the soul, with purity and surrender. The amount doesn't matter in the eyes of men. What truly moves me is the heart with which you give. For know that what is little for you can be much for someone who receives this light in a moment of total darkness. Whoever contributes any amount with a sincere heart, please remember to include your name and city along with your contribution. I insist that, on the first day of the following month, in a unique and special video on our channel and page Divine Love, the Voice of God, your name will be remembered, mentioned with affection and gratitude, and covered by divine blessings released in prayer upon your entire household. For it is written in 2 Corinthians chapter 9, verse 7, "Each one must give as he has decided in his heart, not reluctantly or under compulsion, for God loves a cheerful giver." Because God loves a cheerful giver. Every offering made in faith is a living seed before me, your Lord, and I will not fail to bear abundant fruit in your life. I see what you do in secret, in the purest intention of your soul, and I reward you in the sight of all. Remain with me until the end of this message, because I still want to touch the innermost part of your being with my voice. Lift your face now and let the glow of the setting sun touch your skin, even if it is through the glass of a window, fogged by rain or weariness. I want you to take a deep breath and feel the weight of the air changing around you. You have spent too much time leaning over the ashes of what burned, trying to understand why what you built with so much sweat crumbled like sand through your fingers. But I invite you to look at what is before you. The horizon I have drawn for your life is infinitely vaster than the narrow backyard where you have insisted on living in recent years. What remains is merely a seed that needed to die so that something much greater could sprout. You weep for what you have lost, but I smile for what I am about to give you, because I see the end from the beginning, and I know that your story does not end in a dead end. I see you sometimes sitting in that rocking chair or in the corner of the sofa, your eyes fixed on some point, feeling the cold of the floor creep up your bare feet, while your heart aches with the doubt of whether things will ever be good again. I tell you, they will not return to what they were, because I will make them much better. What lies ahead is not a repetition of what has passed. It is a dimension of peace and purpose that you have not yet experienced. As it is written in the letter to the Romans, chapter 8, verse 18, "For I consider that the sufferings of this present time are not worth comparing with the glory that is to be revealed to us." Understand well what I am revealing to you in this moment of intimacy. The pain you are going through today is not strong enough to be mentioned compared to the banquet of joy that I have already prepared for your tomorrow. The size of your current struggle is only an indication of the magnitude of the victory that is being forged in the silence of my actions. Stop measuring your future by the short ruler of your past. You think the doors have closed forever, but I only locked them to protect you from paths that would lead you to destruction. I am now opening a new map before you, with routes you never imagined you would travel. Do you feel small before the immensity of what I promise you? Great. Because it is in your weakness that my power is fully perfected. Feel the gentle breeze that now blows on your face. It is my breath of life, blowing away the dust of old disappointments. What I have for you today requires that you stop walking backwards, trying to guard what no longer belongs to you. Look ahead, for it is there that my light shines most brightly. If you can feel your hope being renewed like the wings of an eagle, leave your touch of faith here and like this message. Subscribe so you don't miss the thread of this conversation, because I still have much to whisper in your ear. In the silence of your room, what do you most want me to transform into something new in your life? And to declare that you no longer accept the chains of yesterday, write in the comments, "I look ahead," but don't rush to leave my presence, because there is still a mystery I want to give you, a secret I kept for this exact moment in your journey that will change the way you wake up every morning from now on. I know there are early mornings when sleep eludes you, and the weight of the silence in your room seems to crush your chest. You get up, feel the cold of the floor on your bare feet, and walk to the kitchen only to find the emptiness of someone still living with their mind trapped in yesterday, revisiting scenes that should have already been forgotten. At times like these, loneliness tries to whisper that you are wandering aimlessly, but I am there observing every sigh and the deep weariness in your eyes, searching for an answer. So that you don't feel helpless when this video ends and routine tries to pull you back into the shadows of the past, I have prepared an aid for your steps, a daily remedy for the wounds that still insist on bleeding. If your heart desires to plunge into even deeper waters with me, I have left you a gift in the form of a journey, something I wrote with much love and care for all my beloved daughters and sons, the digital book called Divine Love Devotional, The Voice of God. It was specifically prepared to be your daily compass, accompanying you in each new dawn, in silence, and in total intimacy. Access to this scheduled encounter with me is also available in the link in the description of this video, and below, in the first pinned comment. And if today, for whatever reason, it's not possible for you to make this investment in your soul, don't condemn yourself, and don't let guilt overwhelm you. Remain with me here in this message, because I will also sustain and strengthen you through these words now, and so that your heart may rest and your mind may not be confused by technical doubts. Immediately after you complete your registration, full access will arrive directly at the email address you registered, containing all the simple step-by-step instructions for you to begin this journey of restoration by my side immediately. For it is written in the book of Psalms, chapter 32, verse 8, I will instruct you and teach you the way you should go. I will guide you with my eye. This devotional is the support you need to keep your eyes fixed on the horizon and not give in to the temptation to look back. Now, calm your spirit. Feel my peace flooding your room and remain here with me, for there is still a revelation about the authority I am giving you to win tomorrow's battles that you need to hear. Observe for a moment the skin on your wrist, or the subtle marks that time has left on your hands. Some of these marks tell stories of silly accidents, but others, those that no one sees, are etched into the deepest fabric of your soul. Do you remember when the wound was still open and the air seemed to burn as it touched the raw flesh of your spirit? There were days when the pain was so sharp that you gasped for breath, trying simply to get out of bed and face breakfast. But today, if you touch that place in your memory, you will perceive something supernatural. What once bled is now just a scar. And what I want you to understand at this moment is that a scar is not a sign of defeat, nor a reminder of shame. A scar is the seal that you survived the storm. She is physical proof that I acted silently while you thought you were dying. I see how you sometimes run your fingers across your face, feeling the accumulated weariness in your eyelids, and how the weight of the silence in your room seems to try to convince you that that old pain still defines who you are. But listen carefully to the voice of your Father. What I have healed is healed. I didn't just close the wound, I cauterized the pain with the fire of my Spirit, so that, in place of suffering, authority would be born. As it is written in the first letter of Peter, chapter 5, verse 10, And the God of all grace, who called you to his eternal glory in Christ, after you have suffered a little while, will himself restore you and make you strong, firm, and steadfast. Note that the establishment comes after the suffering. That betrayal that left you devastated, that grief that seemed like a tomb for your own dreams, or that rejection that made you feel like the least of women, all of that was transformed by my hands. Today, you no longer carry a dead weight, but a tool of war. You can only comfort those who weep because your own tears have dried and cleared the path. You can only tell someone there is hope because you have seen the sun rise after the darkest night of your existence. I am transforming your past into an altar of testimony. Do not hide your scars, for they are the credentials heaven has given you to enter places where those who have never suffered can never tread. Feel now a new strength coursing through your spine. Where there was weakness, I place firmness. Where there was trembling, I place my power. You are a survivor whom I have chosen to be a victor. If you feel that yesterday's pain has finally given way to peace that surpasses understanding, leave your sign of gratitude here and enjoy this word that was sent especially to your heart. Have you noticed how that pain that seemed eternal no longer has the power to make you cry as before? Tell me. In what area of your life do you feel that I have finally closed the wound and left only the mark of my healing? And to seal this definitive restoration of your identity, write in the comments our declaration of freedom. Healed soul. Stay alert, because we're not finished yet. What I'm about to tell you is what separates those who merely survive from those who conquer the territory of the promise. And it involves a step you'll have to take even without seeing the ground. There's a moment, right after the decision to no longer look at the ashes of the past, when the emptiness seems to loom large before you. I see it when you turn off the light in the room and lean against the wall, feeling the cold texture of the paint under your hands, while the dark hallway seems like a perfect metaphor for your immediate future. The darkness is frightening. I know that. The unknown makes your chest tighten and your breath short, as if the ground were missing from under your feet the very moment you decide to move forward. But listen to what your Creator is whispering now. What you call darkness, I call a place of protection. Sometimes I turn off the external lights so that you may learn to see with the eyes of the Spirit and walk guided only by the sound of my voice. You have been expecting a complete map, a detailed plan with every curve and every stop on your new journey. But I offer you something much safer, my company. I see when you hesitate to take the next step, afraid that tomorrow will be just a repetition of yesterday's stumbles. But today, I am asking you to let go of the wall you have been leaning on and walk towards what you cannot yet see. as it is written in the book of Proverbs chapter 3, verses 5 and 6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to him, and he will make your path straight. Understand that your own understanding is limited by what you have already experienced, but my understanding is infinite. If you rely only on what you can explain, you will never leave the place where pain has left you. I am moving the shadows now so that you may realize that in the darkness I hold your hand more firmly. Do you feel this gentle warmth that seems to envelop your fingers at this very moment? It is I telling you that the next step will not be in the void. I have already prepared the ground where your feet will touch. I have already cleared away the stones that could cause you to fall. What you need now is not more light but more confidence. The step of courage is the one you take when all your senses tell you to retreat, but your soul hears my call to advance. Do not fear the fog that covers the road ahead. I am the wind that dissipates it in due time. If you feel that your heart is gaining the strength necessary to face the unknown by my side, show heaven that you accept the challenge and enjoy this message now. Subscribe so that we can continue walking together step by step in this revelation. Let me ask you something that touches the depths of your soul. If you knew, with absolute certainty, that I am holding your hand, what would be the first step you would take today? Tell me here. I want to hear the plans that I myself planted within you. And to seal this commitment of courage, write in the comments, step of faith. But pay attention, because to walk clearly on this new path, there is something that still blurs your vision, something hidden in the windows of your soul that we need to clear together before dawn. Imagine yourself now in front of your living room window, the one you usually look through when the coffee is still hot in the mug and the day begins to show its first signs. You try to observe the movement of the trees or the brightness of the sun, but the image seems blurry, colorless, as if the world outside had lost its vigor. For a moment you think the day is sad, but as you bring your face closer to the glass, you realize that the fog is not in the creation, but on the surface of the window itself. There is a thick layer of accumulated dust, fingerprints of those who tried to hold on there in days of despair, and the trail of old rains that dried and left gray stains. This is how your soul is at this moment, my daughter. You have been trying to see the future I have designed for you through a glass soiled by yesterday's disappointments. The resentment, the bitterness over that harsh word you heard 10 years ago, and the guilt over that mistake that no one else remembers except you, are like this dust that prevents the light from entering. I see it when you rub your eyes, tired of not understanding where your life is going, feeling that the horizon is always hidden by a fog that does not dissipate. But today, I come with the gentle cloth of my mercy and the purifying touch of my spirit to cleanse these windows. I want you to see the true colors of hope that I have prepared for this new season. I am now removing every stain of bitterness that obscured your vision of people and of yourself. For it is written in the first letter to the Corinthians, chapter 13, verse 12. For now we see through a glass, dimly, but then face to face. Now I know in part, but then I shall know even as I also am known. You have lived immersed in enigmas and doubts, trying to decipher tomorrow with eyes clouded by suffering. But as I cleanse your soul, the mystery begins to give way to clarity. You will begin to realize that those doors that closed were not losses, but deliverances, and that the deserts you crossed served to sharpen your vision. By cleaning the windows of your soul, I give you the ability to discern what is tares and what is wheat in your present. You will begin to see the opportunities for joy that previously went unnoticed because of the weight of your gaze fixed on the ground. Let me cleanse your understanding today. Allow my light to pass through your spirit without encountering obstacles. When you look back at your life after this time with me, you will see that the sun never stopped shining. It was only your heart that needed to be cleansed of the dust of the past. If you feel clarity returning to your heart and the heaviness in your eyes disappearing, like this message as a sign that you accept my purification, subscribe so we can continue this process of restoring your spiritual vision. Now, tell me with all sincerity, what do you feel most blurs your vision today? Is it fear, longing, or lack of forgiveness? Tell me here. I am ready to remove that stain right now, and as an act of faith for a new perception of life, write in the comments, clear vision, But don't turn away yet, because now that the glass is transparent, I want you to see the banquet that is already set before you, right there, at that table you hadn't noticed yet. Daughter, I see when you sit at your kitchen table, stare at the almost empty plate or just the remains of lukewarm coffee, and feel a tightness in your chest, as if life had been reduced to crumbs of joy and leftovers of hope. You look at the empty chairs around you, or perhaps at the silence that reigns in your home, and wonder if the time of abundance in your soul will ever return. But today, I invite you to turn your gaze away from this limited scene and raise your eyes to what I myself have designed in the palaces of my eternity. Right there, around the corner from your current desert, there is a long table covered with an immaculate white tablecloth that shines like the midday light. I smell the aroma of fresh bread and the perfume of the flowers I have gathered especially to welcome you. The banquet is already set, and your name is engraved in gold in the place of honor, right beside me. You have spent too much time feeding on bitter memories and reheated sorrows, believing that scarcity was all you deserved. But I am the Lord of abundance, and what I have prepared for your future cannot be measured by the poverty of your past. I see the weariness in your shoulders, the way you sigh deeply while washing the dishes, feeling that your best years have been consumed by drought. However, listen to what your God tells you. The table I have prepared is the place where all your hungers will be satisfied. There will be no room for the loneliness that keeps you company today, nor for the scarcity that tries to steal your sleep. For it is written in the book of Psalms, chapter 23, verse 5, "You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil, my cup overflows." Understand the depth of this mystery, my beloved. I will not take you to a hidden place to bless you. I will prepare this banquet right before those who said you couldn't do it. Those who laughed at your tears and despised your faith will see with their own eyes the overflowing of my grace upon your life. You will no longer be known as the woman who survived the desert, but as the one who was honored by the king in the midst of battle. Now feel the taste of victory that is already beginning to distill in your spirit. What awaits you is not only what is necessary to continue, but more than enough for you to overflow into the lives of others. The joy I have reserved for your coming days is so intense that it will make yesterday's pains seem like a distant and insignificant dream. Are you ready to take your place at this banquet of glory? If you can already smell this new season and feel the warmth of this divine invitation, enjoy this video as one who accepts a place at my table. Subscribe so we can continue this feast of revelation and share this promise with someone who today only has crumbs to eat. Tell me one thing, deep in your intimacy. If you could ask for just one plate of peace to savor with me today, what would you ask me for? I want to hear you. And to confirm that you accept heaven's invitation, write our celebration password in the comments, table set. But listen carefully, because before you sit down to celebrate, I need to pour something over you. An ancient and renewed strength that will ensure you never again feel weary along the way. I feel the weight of the world seeming to accumulate on your shoulders, making every movement of your body a Herculean effort. I see you now, perhaps sitting on the edge of the bed, head bowed and eyes fixed on the floor, feeling that weariness that sleep cannot cure, and that the strongest coffee cannot dissipate. It is a fatigue of the soul, an exhaustion of someone who has given everything and now feels that their inner reservoir is completely dry. You look at the tasks that await you tomorrow and your chest tightens, because you simply don't know where to find the energy for another day of struggle. But listen to what your Father is doing at this very second. I am tilting my golden jar over your head and pouring the anointing of a new beginning. Feel this soft, warm, and fragrant oil descending through your hair, touching your forehead, and running down your neck, carrying away all the stiffness and all the accumulated pain. Where there was dryness, I bring the freshness of my spirit. Where your joints were locked by fear and exhaustion, I place the lubricant of my grace. This anointing is not a temporary palliative. It is the activation of an eternal force that I installed within you on the day I formed you. You no longer need to walk only on your own trembling legs, because now you walk with my power propelling every step. For it is written in the book of the prophet Isaiah, chapter 40, verse 31. But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint. Understand that this waiting is not standing still in despair, but placing all your trust in my silent action. I am giving you new wings today. I am exchanging your weariness for my persistence. You will notice that, as you rise from that chair or bed today, your step will be lighter, your chin higher, and that gleam of determination that the past tried to extinguish will burn again in your eyes like a flame that nothing can put out. I see you looking at yourself in the bathroom mirror, adjusting your hair with a sigh and realizing that something has changed. The heavy expression from a few minutes ago is softening. The new beginning has started from within, in the sanctuary of your heart, touched by me. Do not fear the kilometers that still remain to reach your destination, for I will be the breath in your lungs and the firmness in your knees. What once seemed an insurmountable mountain will now be just a small step on your ladder to victory. If you feel this divine energy coursing through your being and courage returning to pulse in your veins, embrace this message as an act of taking ownership of your restoration. Subscribe to continue receiving this nourishment that sustains your daily journey and share this vigor with those who are also about to give up. Let me ask you, with all the affection of a father who cares for every detail, what do you feel is stealing your vital energy the most today? Tell me below. I want to help you carry this burden, and to seal the reception of this powerful anointing, write in the comments our declaration of vigor, new strength. But remain attentive, because now that you are strengthened, I need to teach you to understand what happens in the silence that precedes your great leap, revealing the secrets I keep for the moment of your ascent. Now, my daughter, I want you to pay attention to the sound of what seems to be nothing. Sit for a moment in that armchair, where you usually fold clothes or simply rest your exhausted body after a long day. Turn off the light. Feel the darkness of the room being broken only by the pale glow of the digital clock, or the moonlight leaking through the crack in the curtain. Silence sometimes screams in your ears, doesn't it? It makes you question whether I am still listening to your prayers, or if I have forgotten the address of your pain. But what you call abandonment, I call incubation. Silence is the womb where the greatest victories are gestated before coming to light. I see when you clasp your hands together, feeling that cold feeling in your stomach, the fear that silence means a definitive no. But understand, when I am silent, it is because I am working on the details that your human vision cannot yet comprehend. For it is written in the book of Exodus, chapter 14, verse 14, "The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still." It's not about how much you can shout or how fast you can run. It's about the stillness of one who knows who their general is. The silence that precedes your great leap is not empty. It is dense with my presence. It is in this silence that I am confusing your adversaries and aligning the stars for your new time. Can you feel that gentle shiver on the back of your neck? It is I whispering that stillness is your greatest weapon now. Many times, the noise of the world has prevented you from hearing my plans, so I needed to lower the volume of everything around you so that you could finally discern the sound of my voice. Do not try to fill this silence with anxious words or the noise of cheap distractions. Remain there, feeling the beat of your own heart, realizing that every second of waiting is being counted in the treasure of heaven. The leap you are about to take will not be in the dark, but on the carpet of glory that I have laid out while you thought nothing was happening. I am adjusting your posture, strengthening your faith, and preparing your spirit to bear the weight of the blessing to come. Silence is my signature that something great is coming. If this sacred silence has brought you a rest you haven't found anywhere else, leave your sign of communion and enjoy this word now. Subscribe so that my voice continues to be your guide in times of quiet, and share this comfort with those who feel that God has forgotten to answer them. Tell me, with all the sincerity of your soul, what do you feel when the world is silent and you are alone with me? Tell me below. I love to hear your voice and to confirm that you trust in my timing and my secret work. Write in the comments our word of surrender, faithful waiting. But prepare your heart and don't move now, for the last word I have for you today is the key that will unlock the padlock that the past tried to keep forever locked, revealing the phrase I promised to whisper to your spirit from the beginning of this journey of ours. My daughter, now that the suffocating weight of the past has finally been left on the dry ground of this desert we crossed together, Feel the lightness that invades your chest. I see it when you take a deep breath, leaning against the headboard of your bed, or sitting silently in your living room, and realize that the air is no longer dense with regrets, but fresh with new possibilities. You have walked this far, allowing each whisper of my heart to reach the most hidden areas of your soul, and now your gaze is fixed on the horizon, where the sun of a new day is already beginning to tinge the clouds with gold and hope. Don't look back, for what remained in those ruins no longer has power over the woman you have become in this hour of revelation. What you thought would be your end, I have transformed into a new beginning, and the tears with which you watered the path will now serve to make the garden that awaits you ahead bloom. I promised you, at the very beginning of this sacred encounter, that I would deliver a spiritual key to your heart, a phrase that would be the final answer to your prayers and the seal of your new journey. The moment has come to reveal it, so that it may dwell in your thoughts with each sunrise and sustain you, when the world tries to discourage you, or when the longing for what has passed knocks at your door. Listen with your soul, for I now whisper to your innermost being, I can do all things through him who strengthens me. Yes, my beloved, this is your ultimate truth and your protection for the days to come. Right now, with all your faith and with the authority of a chosen and beloved daughter, this phrase in the comments as an act of surrender and response to heaven, I can do all things through him who strengthens me. By typing these words, you are signing a pact of victory with me and declaring that your strength does not come from yourself, but from the eternal source that never runs dry. May this gesture be the first firm step in the land of your promise. But don't stop here, for my voice wishes to continue echoing in your home and in your daily life. I have much more to reveal to you, profound secrets that are still kept and that you can find by continuing to browse through the messages of love that I have prepared for you in our special list of videos. Let me guide your steps in each new word, so that your faith may become an unshakable rock. Your future is not a frightening mystery, but a project that I have lovingly designed. Your feet will no longer stumble on the stones of yesterday, for I am your safe path. Rest in my love because your tomorrow is already kept and protected in my hands.